Hi everyone and welcome to part 7 in this series, Learn to Code HTML for Beginners. Now in the last video we spoke about images, and in this video we're going to talk about the importance of semantic tags. So to begin, what are semantic tags? Well, what you're going to see a lot of in coding is people structuring their page using divs and spans, alright? Now a div is what's known as a block element and a span is an inline element. And what that means is that divs take up the whole width of the page. Meaning that if you try to line up two divs together, they actually won't. They'll automatically drop down to different lines on the page, okay? A span being an inline element means that you can have multiple spans on the same line, kind of like these photos here, okay? I'll show you how I've set them up now. But you'll see that each of them elements is fit onto the same row, whereas all these divs here, this heading, this list here, have all dropped down to separate lines, okay? Now, just to give you an example, so you can see here I've broken this page down as an example. It's all listed out in divs, and here we've created these photos here. We've lined them up using spans, okay? So we've a div, a divider around this whole section, but then inside of this section each image is within a span, all right? And what happens is if we were to change this now to a div, what should happen is now that this image here, this boxing image here, is now inside of a div, it should kick these two other images down to the next line, all right? And if we hit refresh, that's exactly what happens, okay? So we'll undo that for the moment, and we'll hit refresh. And what we want to look at now is the way this page is set up, all right? So we've set up each element inside of a div, but what you'll notice is it's very, very hard to understand what's going on. And that's where semantic tags come in. So semantic tags are tags that clearly define their meaning both to the developer and to the browser. And not only is using semantic tags considered best practice, it's also used by screen readers and other assistive technologies to help read your web page. It also really helps to structure your web page and make your code really easy to understand, alright? So here you can see that we have headers, we have a main, footer, article, section, details, aside, and nav. So they're all elements that make it really, really easy to understand when you're reading through the code. It makes it really easy to understand exactly what's happening, all right? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to delete all of this and we're going to recreate this page, but this time using semantic tags, okay? So we'll clear all of that and we will start fresh from here. Okay, so to begin, what we're going to do is we are going to use our semantic tags to structure this body, okay? So we're going to want to have a header. We are then going to want to have a main. And then, I'll just break these up a little more. And then we are going to have our footer. All right. So to start off, let's look at the header. Okay, so first thing we want to do is to put in a H1. We'll call this my website. And what we're going to try to build here is sort of a portfolio kind of CV, sort of a web page, okay? So we're going to have a lot of information about ourselves. So we'll start off, we'll have our heading, and then we'll put in this horizontal row just to give us a line on the page. And in here then we are going to put our navbar. Remember we had it in our previous video. But that time we didn't actually put it in a semantic tag, we just had a list, alright? So this time around what we're going to do is we're going to have this nav for a navbar, and then same as we had the last time, we'll put in our UL for our unordered list, and then for inside of each list element we are going to have a link. Okay, and I'm not going to bother this time around putting in links to other files, okay? We'll just stick with what we're doing here for the moment. So we'll have a link here to home, and we'll have a link to our contact page, okay? And what it will do then is we'll add another line here, okay? So that's our header component built out, okay? So inside of these header tags we have our initial heading, then a horizontal row which is a line across the page. We then have specified that this is our navbar, alright? So we've put in nav, And to do that, we've done an unordered list, and our list element in each of our list elements we have an anchor tag, and inside of our href we could have a link to whatever page we wanted. We could create some more files over here. We could create a contact file or an about file. We're not going to do that just yet. We've done that in a previous video when we spoke about links, so have a look at that. But this is using the semantic tags. We've specified exactly what we're doing inside of this header tag. All right, we'll hit refresh, and that's set up there. Okay, now what we'll do is we will move on to our main tag. All right, and to begin here, what I want to do is, okay, so we're gonna break this down first of all with an article. Okay. And inside of our article, we will have a section. And so we're going to break this up into sections. So this first section is going to be kind of a summary. We've already used a H2, or sorry, a H1 on this page. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop down now and use a H2. It's best practice to only, if you're using a H1, only to use one on a page, then drop down, use if you want to use a couple of H2s, and then if you're using headings inside of your H2, drop down to H3, H4, H5, and so on. Okay, so we'll put this heading as a H2. We'll call this my profile, and then we will just have our P tag here, and we'll just put in some dummy text here. Lauren Ipsum text times 3, hit enter, and that will automatically generate some text for us. We can hit save there and refresh. Okay, that's looking okay. We want to then create another section inside of our article. Where is it done? And inside of this section, what I'm going to do is we'll list our work experience. Okay, so again, we'll use our H2 and we'll call this work experience. And we'll actually add another list here, okay? And then inside of each list element, what we want to do, what we'll do is we'll use a bold tag to list the name of the company that we worked in, and we'll call this Google, and then we will just in smaller writing, just in standard writing, we'll just say what our role was. Okay, so let's say software engineer. Okay, we'll copy this and we'll do this twice more, and let's say we also worked at YouTube as a front-end engineer, and we were also a freelance web developer. Okay, that looks okay. We'll refresh that. Okay, so that doesn't look too bad. Perfect. Now let's create another article here, and inside of this article we will add our education. Okay, so I'm gonna add a section here, actually a bit more space, a section here for our heading, which again is going to be a H2, and we'll call this education. Right, and what's the best way of us doing this? So we'll add another section here, and inside of this section we are going to have a details section. Okay, and this is pretty cool. Inside of here, what we do is we add a summary. Okay, and our summary is going to be, let's say, a master's degree in computer science, and then inside of this details tag we are also going to add a P tag, and inside of that we'll put the name of the college that we went to, or the university. So we'll say Trinity College, which is a college here in Dublin. And if we hit refresh here, you'll see this is quite cool. It gives us the master's degree in computer science, but when we click here, it actually shows us Trinity there as well. And we'll copy this and we'll do this again. And let's just say we also have a bachelor's degree from University College Dublin, which is again another university here in Dublin. Hit enter. Okay, we can do that and that. Okay, we're looking good here. And then lastly, we will have our footer, right? And what I might do actually is we'll add another line there, and inside of our footer we are going to add its a p tag. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to make a copyright sign by using this plus symbol and then copy, and we'll say 2022 learn to code. Let's hit save, refresh that, and there we go. So we have our copyright symbol here, 2022 learn to code. So what this does is for assistive technologies looking at this, it makes it a lot easier for them to understand exactly what's happening on the page. Okay, it can actually figure out where the page starts and ends, where the header is, where the navbar is, where the main content of the page is, how it's broken up into different articles, sections, different headings, text. We can add actually down here, let's just say this is our current role. Let's say it's our current role. We'll actually highlight this by this tab. We can put in a mark, paste that back in, we'll hit refresh, that'll be highlighted there as well. Okay, but you can see even for us looking at it as a developer, it's a lot easier to understand exactly what's going on. We know that this is the main body of the text. We know we have one article and another. We know that it's broken up into different sections, so it's a lot easier to know what's happening. We also have our header up here and our footer down here. Okay, so what we've done is we've really structured our page using the best practice. It's a lot easier for developers to read, it's a lot easier for browsers to read. What happens a lot of the time as well is when you're working on a big project as a developer, you might write this code now and it could be another 3-4 weeks before you look at it again. It could be longer. You took them back to an old project and you're looking to update things, change projects, code you haven't looked at in years, and you come back, and having everything well laid out and very, very easy to read makes your job a whole lot easier. So that's pretty much everything in this video. Again, as always, if you have any questions, anything you don't understand, leave a message in the comments and I'll reply there so everybody can see the answer. If you can, please like this video, please subscribe to my channel. There's going to be more and more videos coming. I'm going to try to do maybe 2, 3, maybe 4 videos a week moving forward. Once we get through this HTML stuff, we'll start looking at CSS, and then what we'll start doing is building out some projects using both HTML and CSS. In the next video as well, we're going to look at creating tables in HTML, so stay tuned for that. And as always, thanks very, very much for your time, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.